Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Next up for you today I'm going to give you a look at some figures from the first wave of the vintage collection. The first figure I'm going to give you a look at is this guy here. This is the twin pod cloud car pilot. Admittedly not one of the most interesting characters from the wave, but certainly not the worst. And it makes a decent addition to the collection, especially considering that Hasbro have just released a cloud car in the new vintage line, so you're obviously going to need a couple of these guys to pilot that. A decent figure, and before I get onto it I'm going to give you a look at the packaging that he comes in. Obviously it's the vintage collection packaging, which is an homage to the original run of Star Wars figures back in the 70s and 80s. At the top of the card you've got the Empire Strikes Back logo, as well as an image of the cloud car pilot himself. On the back of the card you've got an image of the original vintage cloud car pilot, as well as the vintage collection description at the side. If you want to get a good read at this, either pause this video now or you can read the video description, as I'll be copying and pasting that inside there. You've also got the rest of the vintage collection wave 1 pictured along the bottom, and as I said, I have picked up most of this wave but have skipped one or two figures that are repacks or kit bashers that I don't really need or don't really want, because unfortunately here in the UK the vintage collection has suffered from a price hike. Rather than £7.99, these figures are actually being priced at £8.99, and they are only available at Toys R Us stores, which aren't exactly a common sight here in the UK. So a lot of collectors are unfortunately going to be missing out on the vintage collection, but nonetheless it's still a cool line to collect, and this figure is a cool one to get as well. He's got a very nice sculpt. I'm not too keen on the way that the helmet overhangs at the back. I think that looks a little bit out of place. The helmet is removable, and he's got a decent head sculpt underneath. I know quite a few people are actually going to be skipping this figure because they've said that the colour scheme looks a little bit silly, and I can understand that to an extent. You know, the yellows and the whites and the reds, you know, it's kind of like someone's thrown a paint bucket at him, but still a very cool figure nonetheless. And as I said, if you're intending to pick up the cloud car, you're definitely going to need at least a couple of these guys to fly that around. Articulation wise, he has a ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders and elbows, swivel forearms, a swivel waist, swivel hips, ball hinged knees and ball hinged ankles. And as you can see, he does come with a blaster pistol, which can be slotted in the holster on his belt there. This figure is actually really, it's considered an expanded universe figure because it's not entirely accurate to the cloud car pilots from the Empire Strikes Back. It's sort of a merger of the concept art for the cloud car pilots and the ones that we actually see on screen, so it's like a hybrid of movie prop and concept art, which is pretty interesting. And overall he's a decent figure. Really like the sculpt, and you never know, at some point I may decide to pick up the cloud car and get another one of these guys and stick them in there. So there he is, that's the cloud car pilot from the vintage collection. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this figure, and I'll be back with some more vintage reviews soon. Until then, keep collecting, and may the force be with you.